Today on our education and entertainment channel, I am going to explain the Hindi lesson Harihar Kaka in a story form so that it would be easy for you to understand the lesson properly and then learn the lesson in Hindi and write your exams very well. So let us go on with the lesson. Harihar Kaka. The story Harihar Kaka is written by G. The main character is known to the author. He was his neighbor and had great affection towards the author as his own son. And when the author grew up to be a youth, he was the best friend of Harihar Kaka. Kaka used to share his happiness and sorrow with the author. The story revolves around the Thakurbari, meaning the house of God, or a temple, which was believed to be worshipped by a saint in the olden days, and thereafter a big temple was constructed by the villagers. It was taken care of by the committee comprising of the believers of God. A mahant and a priest was appointed by them for a tenure of 3 years to look after the temple and also conduct the prayers and the pujas and the rituals in the temple. The temple was actually constructed to develop more and more belief among the people of the village. Every celebration, be it Diwali, Holi, or any other celebration, be it a marriage or any birth of a child, anything, holy, something said to be a good happening in the village, everything had to be started with the pujas in the temple. People used to give expensive offerings in the form of money, jewelry, so many expensive things were offered to impress the deity and also to fulfill their prayers. When the farmers got good yield from the farms, they used to give away a part of their field in the name of Thakurbari. Even annadans were offered by the devotees of the village. Annadan means a feast given to all the people of the village, be it poor or rich or anybody. It is considered to be the prasadam. So that is also offered to the people of the village. The villagers were so superstitious that they believed that if they served the deity and the temple, their sins will be forgiven and their lives will be purified forever. Coming to Harihar Kaka, they were 4 brothers. Kaka was the second brother. All of them were married and had children except Harihar Kaka. Though Kaka married twice, but unfortunately he did not have any children, and added to his misfortune, both his wives also expired soon. So he decided to live rest of his life with his brothers and family happily. Harihar Kaka's family owned 60 bighas of land totally. Each brothers had 15 bighas of land to their share. As they were farmers and were dependent on the yields of the farming for their livelihood, they lived in a joint family. Their brothers, 3 brothers of Harihar Kaka had instructed their wives to look after their brother with lot of love and affection. For few days everything was fine. Slowly they stopped giving attention to Kaka. All of them never bothered about him. Used to give him some dry food, whatever was remaining, after every other member of the family had their meal. So they never bothered about Harihar Kaka, the poor old person. One day, when a friend of his nephew, who worked as a clerk in the city, came to their home as a guest, lot of delicious dishes were prepared by the ladies of the family. Old Kaka dreamt of having the delicious dishes which were prepared and at least have a good meal on that special day. His brothers were also fed a sumptuous meal along with other family members, and they left for work under the assumption that the wives would have served a great meal to Kaka prior to their arrival itself. But poor Kaka went inside the house for lunch, and one of the brother's wife served him little rice, curd, and pickle. And he burst out with anger and threw away the plate with food outside the home, yelling that he had enough income from the farm, which was his share of property, with which he could keep few servants to look after him, but he compassionately gave away his earnings to the entire family so that they could show some affection towards him. So he did not expect much from others, only love and affection from his family members. But unfortunately, none of them bothered to look after Harihar Kaka. So this was very much genuine that Harihar Kaka got so frustrated by such behavior. While this incident happened, the pujari of the Thakurbari, he came to that house for some funds or something for the temple, and he was sitting in the courtyard and he was witnessing all the things that were happening inside the house. And he immediately went back and he discussed all the matters that had happened with the Mahant of the temple, that such things are happening in Harihar Kaka's home, and he was not properly looked after by the family members, and that day such a bad incident also happened. So he just discussed everything with the Mahant. And now the Mahant made a master plan to trap Harihar Kaka. They brought Harihar Kaka to their Thakurbadi and tried to mesmerize him with their sweet, consoling words and attitude. And they tried to pacify him to write away his 15 bighas of land in favor of the Thakurbadi, assuring that the rest of his life he would be taken care of well like a king in the Thakurbadi itself. And added on, he could easily attain a best place in the heaven with such noble gesture. Actually, the Thakurbadi was considered by the villagers to be a very religious, pious place where people came for some happiness and to purify their life and to lead a proper life. But here we find that the Mahant or the Pujari or the saints or the sadhus who were all related to this Thakurbadi, they were all actually greedy people in some way or the other. They were working for this Thakurbadi under the pretext of like religious thoughts and everything, but they were actually greedy of wealth. And our Harihar Kaka was also a victim to such greediness that is very much prevalent in today's world. Harihar Kaka's mind also got disturbed by the sweet words of Mahant, and he also thought that in his lifetime he had not done anything for the welfare of God. So, idea of Mahant would be appropriate for purifying his life. On the other hand, Kaka was also not interested to deprive or cheat his brother's family. Under the compulsion, Harihar Kaka had to stay in the Thakurbadi that night. Even though his brothers came and they tried to console Harihar Kaka, they even talked with the Mahant, but the saints and the priest and the Mahant, everybody, they succeeded and they somehow made Harihar Kaka to stay in the Thakurbadi that night. Though that night Pujari and Mahant gave him delicious food to eat, and also advised him religious thoughts to enlighten his soul. He had a great time with them. So much of delicious food, such a good luxurious life. Everything was first in his lifetime. So he thoroughly enjoyed everything. And the Mahant and the Pujari, they tried their level best to change the mind of Harihar Kaka in their favor. Kaka's three brothers were not interested to lose those 2 lakhs worth property in the name of Harihar Kaka. So they cried and consoled and tried to pacify him and brought him back home. He was therefore looked after well by the brothers' family members. They also caught hold of his leg, and then they cried that they would make their wives understand that this was not the way. So since they were younger to him, so they had made a mistake, so they would not repeat such acts and all. They tried to pacify everything, and somehow they brought him back to their home. The main thing was they did not want to lose the property. These brothers were also greedy. Now we find that on both the sides there are greedy people. But Harihar Kaka, according to us, if we see the story, we understand that he had that affection towards his family. At the same time, he also did not want to do anything harm to in the name of God. So he had a lot of respect for Mahant and priest and all saints and everybody out there. So he did not want to hurt them also. Now we find that among the villagers nowadays, we find the public have their own opinion, and they show their opinion in every place. So it is not like it is something not bothering us, but the public is always bothered about whatever is happening inside the village. So here also, in this story also, we find that there are 2 types of people, 2 type of public in this village. Some of the villagers, they thought that Harihar Kaka should donate the property in favor of the Thakur body, so that it would be so religious. It would be a religious act. It would be good for the entire village. And if such a big property is donated in favor of Thakur body, means so many people in the village would get feast and food and everything, the wealth and so many things. So they thought that it would be nice if Harihar Kaka donated in favor of Thakur body. Again, we find that another half of people, they thought that Harihar Kaka should have given his property to his brothers and the family, because according to Hindu culture, the general rule is we give away everything to our relatives. So whatever it be, whether we are having wife or children or whosoever, but brothers are also our relatives. So they also have the right to Harihar Kaka's property, because they are the kids of the same father. So they thought that Harihar Kaka should have donated his property in favor of his brothers and wives and children. So that would have been a better act on the part of Harihar Kaka. So now these 2 types of people discussed their thoughts and views in the villages every now and then. Harihar Kaka, when Harihar Kaka was brought back to his home, he made it very clear. He had made up his mind that he would not give away the property to anybody, because now he was also confused. He told his brothers and his family that after my death, all the property will naturally come back to you only. So there is no need to make any separate will and then write it in your name at this moment. Okay, so he thought that after his death, let the brothers and family enjoy the property. One day, Mahant makes a major plan, and with the help of the sadhu sant and devotees of the temple, kidnaps Harihar Kaka. From his home, at night in order to forcefully get the land donated in favor of Thakurbari. Kaka's brother, so suddenly this Mahant and the Pujari, they were very cunning people. They also had some goons in the Thakurbari who could help them with to successfully complete this cunning act. So along with the goons and everybody, they came, and Harihar Kaka's brothers, they were not prepared, and they did not expect such an incident to happen. So they could not do anything. They were so helpless that night. These goons and the Mahant and the Pujari and the Saint Sandhu, everybody came, and they took away Harihar Kaka forcefully, and they went back. And the brothers nor the villagers, they never had any clue that where did they take Harihar Kaka and where did they keep them. And the morning we find that the brothers and the villagers and everybody, early morning they go to that Thakurbari expecting Harihar Kaka to be there, but everything was calm. The environment was so calm and serene in the Thakurbari, in the area, in the premises. They did not even get a sound of something, and they thought that maybe they would have kidnapped and they would have taken away Harihar Kaka and kept elsewhere. So they were trying to return, and at that moment they heard a faint sound and murmuring and argument coming from inside the Thakurbari. And then they realized that yes, Harihar Kaka has been kidnapped and kept inside the Thakurbari. Now Harihar Kaka has been kidnapped and kept inside this Thakurbari. Now when the people forcefully tried to open the Thakurbari, nobody was responding, nobody was opening the gate, they were not allowing them to enter. And suddenly from people from inside the Thakurbari, they started throwing the stones and sticks and other things and on the common villagers, and many of the villagers, they get hurt, and then when they got hurt, they ran away. Now only the brothers were left. Only the three brothers of Harihar Kaka were helplessly standing there. They also could not get inside, and at that point they realized that it is impossible to enter the house alone, because now they were not having anybody to support them. They went back to the police station, and they explained everything to the police, and along with the police and the constables, they come to Thakurbari. And here what happens is, the Thakurbari is such a vast area. Thakurbari covers a vast area, and the police force was only handful. They tried to cover the entire Thakurbari with the available police, and the police also instructed the inmates of the Thakurbari to surrender, because they were confirmed that Harihar Kaka was kidnapped and kept inside. Though the sound was not coming at that time, inside the Thakurbari, what was happening is, these Mahant and priest and saint and everybody, they were torturing Harihar Kaka like anything, and they forcefully they were trying to get the documents signed by Harihar Kaka in the name of the temple or the Thakurbari. Though the police again and again fired the gun in the air and threatened the inmates of the Thakurbari, but nobody surrendered, or none of them came out of the Thakurbari. And then when slowly after the sunrise, an old man, very old man, around 80 years old man, comes out, and he opens the door of the Thakurbari as if nothing has happened inside, and as if everything normal is going on inside the Thakurbari, just for the prayers of the puja, early morning pujas, just like the temple opens. He also came out and he opened the door of the Thakurbari, and the police along with the three brothers, they tried to enter, and they asked that where is Harihar Kaka, where are the Mahant and Sadhus and everybody. And this man, he was shivering, and he was not afraid and all. He was shivering because of his age, and he said that he knew nothing about it. Nothing unholy has been happening inside, and everything was normal inside the Thakur body. So he acted to be very normal, and even because of his old age, the police also could not compel him. Thereafter they decided, okay, they wanted to go inside. They went and they searched in every room and everywhere, but unfortunately they could not find Harihar Kaka. Then when they planned to go back, retrieve back, at that time they found a big lock in front of a big door, and somebody from inside started kicking the door. Then they understood that Harihar Kaka would have been kidnapped inside, and they broke open the door, they broke open the lock, they broke open the door, and they went inside, and they found that Harihar Kaka was completely tortured by these people. The cloth was kept inside his mouth, and they had horribly tortured him. He could not even move, but somehow he managed to make the sound, and so the police got alerted, and they rescued Harihar Kaka. Now the people who were there, some of the people who were left in the Thakur body, they only could be arrested, but the Mahant, priest, saint, everybody, they escaped from the spot. So they could not do much in this case. This was what happened. And Harihar Kaka, he also explained that this Mahant and saint and priest and everybody, they compelled him to sign on the blank papers, on certain documents and everything under compulsion. They have taken all these signatures, and he filed a complaint against all of them. He said that he believed these people to be very good-hearted people who were doing welfare measures to all the villagers, but unfortunately these people turned out to be devil, and they were so greedy people. They were only interested in the wealth, and for that matter they were not they were ready to torture such an old person just for the money. And he had a very bad experience that night in this Thakur body. So these are the things he explained, and he gave a complaint, written complaint to the police, and he was taken back by his brothers back home, and his brothers also said that okay, they would take care of him more properly, so that further in future also any such incidents do not happen in his lifetime. So here I stop the story for you people to understand this much portion very well, and then you go through the lesson till I have taught, till I have explained, and then if you want me to discuss anything more, you please comment in the comment box. In the next video I will be completing this story. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you.